one of the things Christians are worst at, not just Christians, but other people, but I think it kind of stinks more when Christians are worse this way, is the whole not responding with reprisal or punishment. Instead, wanting to figure out a path toward reconciliation, reckoning with the hurt, reckoning with the wrong, but not condemning the wrongdoer, not rejecting them, making them subhuman, or the object of our gleeful rage. Bless those who persecute you, says the 12th chapter of Romans. Bless, don't curse them. How can we do that? We have to rejoice with those rejoicing, because the more we learn to rejoice, the more we don't want to curse and hurt people. And we have to weep with people who are weeping, with mothers whose children are killed as collateral damage when nations go to war. When people suffer violence, and people suffer job loss because somebody thought they could make more money doing it a different way. If we have hearts that have trouble weeping with people because we want it to be somebody else's problem, we have to ask God to help us to grow in compassion and tears. And then, rejoicing and weeping, we will want to live in harmony with one another, not by hiding and covering up conflict like some of us are tempted to do, not by escalating it, but because we don't want to repay anyone evil for evil. We want to do the best thing, the noble thing, which means insofar as it in us lies. In other words, to the limit of our capability, and then help God take us to a bigger capability, we work on being a peacemaker. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Why do people want to ignore that? Can you follow Jesus for 30 seconds and not want to be a peacemaker? I don't think so. Beloved, you are beloved. Never avenge yourself. That's pretty strong, because that separates us from God. Leave room for God. God's wrath is better than human affection sometimes, because God's wrath is never mean. It's corrective. It's appropriate consequences. Instead, we, as Jesus said, another thing people like to ignore, love your enemies. There's no conditionality there. Paul says, okay, if love's too hard, if they're hungry, feed them. If they're thirsty, give them something to drink. In other words, treat them like you want to be their friend and like you want to be treated. And then he says something that people get all twisted up about. By this, you heap burning coals on their heads. Now, this is not to hurt them. But have you ever experienced, I have, when something beautiful, something loving, something that took something from somebody actually irritated you because you knew it was contrary to something else you wanted more, and you didn't want to admit they could be more right than you? See, when we are turned away from God's love, it irritates us. I had a friend who used to say he used to think I was too perky. And then he encountered the Spirit in a way that made him become a little more perky in the Spirit himself. And then he kind of got some of my perkiness. I'm not always perky, let me tell you. But I do know that the heaping coals on their head is not because that's our goal, because we want to burn them. It's because when you do what is good, if you twist the devil into a knot, the evil one, that impulse to keep harm, alienation, and suffering in control, it does fight back. But in God's purpose, our goodness, our honesty, we let God be about that fire of the burning coal that is used to purify metal, to bring out the luster, to burn away what doesn't need to be there. And I've seen that work with people who've been deeply hurt and traumatized and incarcerated, And from just unimaginably terrible families, I've seen people do this with parents who hurt them terribly when they believe in the power of this last sentence, which if you're just going to memorize one, maybe that's the one. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. That's what the burning coal is all about. Bless those who persecute you. Be a blessing. Be blessed. Be a peacemaker. Trust that when we follow the Spirit, evil can win in the short run. It can hurt people, kill people, do terrible things we don't even want to think about. But it cannot overcome this good. And we can overcome it by being committed to good.